So update 13.0 is getting ready to release in Warpath in the coming probably week or so, give or take a little bit. And with it has come two brand new officers. And we're going to be taking a look at both of them today, taking a look at their skills and seeing what we think. So with that being said, let's go and get started. Welcome back, guys. I hope everybody is doing well. We're going to be taking a look at the brand new officers heading our way. We have got two of them. One is a ground force officer and one is an air force officer. Like I said, we're going to take a look at their skills, talk about them. I would love to hear any feedback or thoughts that you guys have in the comments. Are you going to invest in them? Are you not? That being said, let's go ahead and take a look. All right, to start here, we have got Steel Angel. She is going to be an artillery officer. She is going to be a Generation 5 officer, so she is one of the newest, kind of iterations to the Gen. Well, she is the newest iteration to the Gen 5 lineup, but the Gen 5 lineup has just recently kind of come onto the scene, so I'm sure over time we will add more and more to that Generation 5. But let's take a look at her. Like I said, she's artillery and a garrison kind of focused artillery officer. Starting with skill number 1, her tactical skill, deals skill damage to an enemy. Damage coefficient is 2200. If this officer's artillery troop is garrisoned, this damage coefficient is increased by 50%. And the boosted skill damage will be shared with one enemy troop within 2 map grids. If no enemy troops are present within that range, the damage will not be shared. And when we click on shared, it says the damage coefficient is split equally between the target troop and the other designated troops. So, essentially it's going to split the effectiveness in half a little bit. I mean, she's still going to be very strong, it would appear. But if there's just like one main troop there, then all of that is going to be dropped right on to one specific unit. So, maybe this makes base to base a little bit harder, like for a solo player, if they're, using an infantry or a super heavy. But if it's a big, like, murder ball, for example, rolling through, that's when that shared effect, appears that it would take effect. So moving on to skill number 2, which is going to be a balanced skill. When in an artillery troop, increases the troop's firepower by 30% and the HP by 20%. So that's a pretty big buff right there for sure. Her third skill, which is an offensive skill, increases the damage intensity of this officer's troop by 15%. If their troop is garrisoned in your base, its damage intensity is further increased by 20%. So we're talking about, again, strictly speaking from a garrison perspective here, we're talking about a 35% boost to your damage intensity, which is pretty solid. I mean, that's at the very top end there. So that is a massive advantage or benefit to have there, no doubt about it. And then moving on to skill number 4, which is a special skill. When this officer's troop attacks an enemy, reduces the enemy's damage resist by 15% for 4 seconds. If their troop is garrisoned in your base, the damage resist reduction is further increased by 20%. So she is through and through absolutely going to be a valuable asset while garrisoned in your base and on your base defensive setup. You're probably not going to want to be taking her into the field. Not that she's necessarily a terrible officer, but she is 1000%, as we can all see, very much built for garrison, defensive setups. So that said, skill number 5, her fully awakened skill. When this officer's artillery troop attacks a shielded enemy, deals skill damage that ignores the enemy's shield. Damage coefficient is 600, can be triggered once every 2 seconds. So she is going to truly, at least on face value, there have been officers in the past that, on paper look very, very good and viable, and then they just really don't perform up to expectation. So maybe this is one of the situations, but I doubt it. I think she's going to be a phenomenal officer, while garrisoned in your base on, obviously, an artillery slash ATG type of unit. All right, now moving on to our next officer, we've got old Stache. I like that name. I might invest in him for nothing more than simply that mustache. I mean, that is just a phenomenal stash right there. But he is, again, going to be the newest iteration here on the Gen 5 officer list. He's going to be a bomber officer with a trap feature. This officer's bomber troop can trap its target, trapped a debuff that immobilizes a troop without preventing it from attacking or using officer skills. Okay, so similar to El Cartero here. So El Cartero is obviously a trap officer too. So starting with skill number 1, his tactical skill. When in a bomber troop, each bombing run deals skill damage twice to the target. Damage coefficient is 1100. Damage reduces by 20% for each additional target hit and deals AoE damage up to 2 enemy troops in the target's perimeter grids. Damage coefficient is 1100. Whenever the officer's troop deals damage, the target is trapped for 2 seconds. Repeated triggers reset the trap duration. Okay. Moving on to skill number 2, which is an offensive skill, increases the damage intensity of this officer's bomber troop by 15%. When attacking an enemy troop, the bomber troop's damage intensity is further increased by 15%. So, I mean, you're talking about, 30% right there. Again, very significant. There's nothing to slouch at about that. Third skill, which is a protection skill, increases the damage resist of this officer's troop by 25%. And then the fourth and final skill increases the firepower of this officer's troop by 35% and its HP by 15%. So very significant, buff there for sure. And then his fifth and fully awakened skill. When in a bomber troop, each bombing run deals 1100 damage. Let's see, perimeter damage coefficient, repeated targets reset. Okay, so it's essentially the same thing, it would appear. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to sit here and just, go through this and repeat it all. Yeah, anyway, that is, I think he's going to be fantastic. I can see people doing a couple of different things with him. I can see them doubling up with El Cartero, just because of El Cartero's burning effect. You can use the skill system to your benefit there. What I think is probably more likely to happen is splitting him and El Cartero up, right? And running them on, a couple tracker bombers and just sitting there and, whether you want to double them up on one single unit, whether you want to hit multiple units and trap them both. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of creativity with these officers, and rightfully so. I think he's going to be an exciting one to use, no question about it. That said, that is going to wrap us up here for the 2 brand new officers heading our way in the 13.0 update. Let me know your thoughts, opinions in the comments below. Are you looking forward to these officers? Are you going to invest in them? And if so, which one are you going to invest in first? If you have stuck around and made it this far into the video, if you've got access to Discord and are not already in my community Discord server, the link to that is going to be in the description of the video below. Click on that link. It will take you right into my community server. Whether you are a new player, a veteran player, it doesn't matter. Absolutely everybody is welcome. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch the video today, and we'll see you on the next one.